Hey there, and welcome. Have you ever just stared at a spreadsheet, with all those cells and columns, and felt kind of lost? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on the world of data and break it down into its simplest parts. Seriously, by the end of this, you're going to see everything from your grocery list to big company reports in a whole new, much clearer light.
So, let's just dive right in with the most basic question of all. What is data, really? It sounds so technical, so complicated, but I promise you, it's way more straightforward than you think. It's really just the information that makes up our world.
And this is it. This is the single most important idea to get your head around. Data is not just a bunch of numbers. The second you truly get that, really get it, tools that seem scary, like Excel or Google Sheets, they just click. This right here is the key. So let's build on that idea. In this first part, we're going to explore this by breaking data down into three simple core building blocks. Think of them like the primary colors of information, Once you know them, you can basically organize, anything.
Okay, so our first building block is all about answering one simple question. What is it? This is what we call text data. It's the data of names, of different categories, of labels, and all those descriptions that give our information its identity. The most important thing to remember here is that text data is all about description. Think about it. You have a list of employees. What are their names? That's text. Their job titles? That's text too. The department they work in? Yep, also text. It tells us what we're looking at, but it never tells us a quantity. And because of that, its purpose is super clear. You don't do math with names, right? Of course not. Instead, you use text to get organized. You can group everybody in the sales department together, or you can filter a giant list to find everyone named Alex. It's all about sorting things and putting them into the right buckets.
All right, let's move on to our second building block. This one answers a totally different question. How much or how many? Now we're in the world of numeric data. This is all about quantities and measurements.
And as you can see, this is the stuff you can actually do math on. It could be a whole number, like say the number of items you sold, maybe 25. Or it could be a decimal, like the price of one of those items, $19.99. Bottom line, if you can add it, subtract it, or find an average, it's numeric data.
And here's why it's so useful. We use these numbers to find out things like our total sales for the month, or the average score on a test, or maybe the percentage increase in visitors to our website. This is where all the calculating happens.
Okay, let's just pause here for a second, because this is the big aha moment. See? Text data tells you what you're looking at, a t-shirt, but numeric data tells you how many you have, 50. It's that simple. One describes, the other one counts. That's the core difference right there. And that brings us to our third and final building block. This one answers the question, when did it happen? And this, of course, is date and time data. And it's kind of a special case, a bit of a hybrid. This is such a cool and really important point to get. When you type October 26, 2024 into a spreadsheet, it looks like text to you, but under the hood, the computer is actually seeing a specific number. And that's the magic. That's what lets the software calculate how many days are between two dates. It's pretty awesome.
And because dates are secretly numbers, we can do some really powerful things with them. We can track sales trends over the last few months, compare how we did this year versus last year, or measure exactly how long a project took from its start date to its finish. It basically gives our data a timeline.
Okay, so there you have it. We've met our three core building blocks of data. Now let's just do a super quick recap to make sure all this stuff really sticks. This little chart here just lays it all out perfectly. You've got text, which asks, what is it? And we use it to identify and group things. You've got numeric, which asks how much or how many, and we use that to calculate and measure. And finally, date and time, which asks, when did it happen? And that's for tracking and comparing. See? It's pretty simple when you break it down like that. And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. This simple understanding, it really is the key. Just knowing if you're working with text, a number, or a date is the absolute first step to telling any spreadsheet exactly what you want it to do. It takes all the guesswork out of it and puts you in control. So what's the big takeaway here? You now have the fundamental knowledge you need to structure any kind of information. It doesn't matter if it's your personal budget, a massive project at work, or even just a list of your favorite movies. You know the building blocks. So the only question left is, what are you going to organize first?